Hey guys, Luke here with another Minecraft Mistborn video, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about warps. So our warp system is summarized by you just type /warp, and right here you can see that I have an available warp called Atium, and if you do warp list, you will see all my warps. I have two warps set right now, Atium, and it's distance/range. And so in Mistborn, you spend Atium to set warps, and you give them a range. And the range determines how far away you can be when you warp to be able to warp to that. So right now, I'm 2,900 blocks away from my Atium warp, but it has a range of 4,500, so I'm good there. I can go to that one. Where my 1K warp has 1,000 block range, but it is 1,950 blocks away, so I can actually warp to that one. So I've set up myself a little stash here. Got some goodies in the chest, and I want to go back and mine some more Atium. Because right now I have about 166 Atium. It's nowhere near the top of the leaderboard, and I want to get in there. So I could just go to my /Atium, or I could just do /warp Atium right here, and that would take me to my Atium warp. But I don't want to do that because then I'd have to walk all the way back to my base. So I need to find some way to move between the Atium mine and my base pretty easily. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set a warp for my base. And we have to figure out a range we want here. So if we just wanted to warp to our little Atium warp right there, if we wanted to be able to warp back and forth directly from my Atium warp to the base, we could just do /warp. We're going to call this a stash. Sorry, warp. Well, first of all, let's see how much this is going to cost. So let's go warp cost. And then it's 2,900 blocks away. We're just going to round that to 2,950. And it's going to cost me 666 Atium to create a warp that far away. I only have 166. So not going to be able to create that warp. But I have another option to be able to warp here from my 1K warp. I could do warp cost. That's 1950 blocks away. We'll do 1975, just a little bit of leeway. And that warp is going to cost 216 Atium. That's still a bit too expensive. So I could go run and mine me some more Atium real fast, but then still how to get back to my base. So we're going to compromise here a little bit, and we won't be able to warp here directly from our 1K warp, but we'll have to walk a little bit. So let's check this out. Let's go warp cost. Let's try 1,800. That's a little bit far out, but we'll see here. That's going to cost us 173, so that's not kind of going to work. Let's do 1,750. Okay, so that only cost 162 Atium. We have 166, so we can actually do that. So let's set a warp called stash with a radius of 1,750. Okay, so now I'm down to 4 Atium. So I really need to go mine some stuff here. So let's get admin mode real fast. Let's warp to my Atium. Alright, so now we get all this lovely Atium here that we can mine. Let's mine a little bit. Okay, so now we want to go back to our base. So we just warp stash, right? Negative. That's too far away. It's 2,900 blocks away, and we only set a radius of 1,750. So if we do /warp, we see our available warps are we can warp back to our Atium, which is only 7 blocks away, or our 1K warp is 991 blocks away, and so we can warp to that one. So if we do warp 1K, and then let's warp Stash. Still too far away. So let's run a little bit here. Make sure we're going the right direction. Ow. Well, I died. So now what? I spawned at a random place, 1,700, 1,300 blocks out. So that's way out there. Just take my ATM. Lost almost all my ATM. So now we have to like find our base or find the thing, right? No, we can just warp ATM. Because that's a nice long warp out. And then warp 1K. And bam, we're back to where we were just a second ago. So if we keep running here, we're going to go to our stash, so warp. Okay, that is a little bit out here. Okay, getting closer. Slowly getting closer. Hi, bunny. Oh, should be able to make it now. Bam, we're back to our base. Now that was a little bit of a pain, because we had to walk so far. So let's put on some gear here. And let's go back to our ATM warp. Okay. Mine some more ATM. And what we're going to do next is we are going to upgrade our base warp with this ATM so that we can reach it from the 1K warp. So that was 1950 blocks out. Oops. Hi, Mr. Zombie. Hi, Mr. Skeleton. Okay, let's just go admin mode here for a minute so these guys will leave me alone. And let's warp. Ooh, I can't spell. Upgrade. Let's do warp list real fast. So if you remember, our 1K base was about 1950 blocks out. So we were going to upgrade our stash to 1950. So let's see how much it's going to cost here. Upgrade stash to 1950. Well, up to here, 1955. Gives us a little leeway. Oops. So it's going to cost us 50 ATM, 49 ATM. We got 32, so we can bust that out pretty quick. Okay, so we got a requisite 49 ATM. Let's upgrade the stash here. Now we'll warp to 1K, and then we'll warp to stash. And there we go. You can work back to ATM. Can't spell. And we're good to go. So now, okay, let's warp back to my stash. Store my gear. Warp back to ATM warp. Let's see if we can. I couldn't get rid of all the monsters a second ago. Let's see if we can find a monster to kill me. Now it's important to note that warps, you don't lose those when you respawn. Still have all my warps in place. My 1 cane stash are too far out, but we can still get to my ATM warp, which is why I made that one so big. So we hit up our ATM warp, and then we hit up 1K, and then we hit up stash. And we can grab our gear, jump back to ATM, and get back in the fight real easy when we die. And so that's a quick overview of the warp system. Hope you like it. Hope to see you online. Thanks.